Okay, Kelly. Just some quick stuff that kind of want to show you how I measured and what's going on with what I'm getting here. This plate, what's left of it, it's not right at the edge. It's more like you can see where that's kind of rounded there. It's kind of back at the edge of that rounded portion. Obviously, we have no plate down there. We've got some here, and it's set back here. So when we go put the new plate on, obviously we're not going to use these bolts. Probably just cut them all off, even though I mean you could probably use these, at least the ones that are still straight. But these bent ones and stuff, they're gone. So I'm thinking about pin and epoxy to get you a new plate down, and then as we do so, we can kind of pick off of this slab what we want, because the distances that I got were 21 foot 11 inches, kind of on a shadow of a plate to that little piece of plate in the side to side direction, and then 23 foot 11 inches from back to front on a shadow of a plate, because I have no real plate to go from. So we can make it exactly, you know, the 22 by 24. And this is what I call the baseline. And in my drawings, which, you know, always, they don't necessarily work out exactly how things get built, but this face would be exactly in line with this face on my drawing. And that's what I call the baseline. Then it's the outside of the stud, goes the outside of the top plate, goes to the outside of a bird's mouth, you know, whatever we're doing, it's just this constant line of bearing, and that's why I call it the baseline. So my issue is that when I measure off of this corner straight out as 90 degrees as I could get it, that measurement, now I've lost it, comes out to be, let's see, that would be the north distance to the house foundation wall. So that's this corner here back to the house foundation, which is way out here. And that came out to 14 foot 9 and 15 or 5/16, 9 and 5/16 to unplumbed stucco parge that was on the stem. So that's not even a plumb wall out there. So where, you know, if this wall was tilted in slightly, which is what it kind of does at the house, and I'm measuring somewhere in here, you know, which part of this not plumb wall is accurate. So I can't really rely on that. So I'm kind of discarding that measurement, and I took one from this corner and behind my leg, the other opposite corner of the laundry room. And so the mid of the garage to this corner, I have as 55 3/4 of an inch. And then back here at the alley, I have 57 1/2 inch to, again, this plate shadow. So what it does when I get into CAD, and this is the basement, let's go to the proportion. So here, you can see that the garage is 90 degrees to the house, and that's wonderful. But when I lay these measurements out, they're different. So what truly happens is I get a skew, and this is an X-ref, so it's not really drawn skew, but so I'm drawing them in two different drawings. If I have to stay this way, I do, but when it comes to the 3D model, it's going to create some havoc. And so if I were to take a look at what's going on here, and I were to take a distance from this corner up to this corner where it's skewed, you'll note down here that my X direction is -1 3/4. So it faded to the left as I went up 1 3/4 of an inch out of plumb across the distance of the laundry. It's not a great distance, but I want your opinion as do you really want me to have that considered? If so, I can do it all in AutoCAD, just like I'm doing here, because I still draw in this drawing, which is level 0 and level 1, everything square. And then I just bring them into the garage drawing as an external reference, and I can skew it so it represents closer to reality. How perfect that is, I don't know. And then in the working drawing, I'll end up with the same thing. And in 2D working, when I project these lines, I have to project a back wall line and a front wall line. So you'll end up with double lines here because you'll see just a hairline of this side of the garage when I've got this squared off. And I'll have the main house squared off, of course, because it's the most important part. Makes drawing this a little bit of a pain. And the model itself, it'll just have to be averaged and squared out. So I'm kind of thinking about, should this just be averaged and squared out because we can rotate it on that slab because the slab is oversized and we can make it right. And I'll take the average. So if this was, 1 3/4, let's call it then it'd be 7/8 average distance difference. So I'll just come up with that average. So basically just I draw a line from here to, let's just go to here, then I can trim it back to here, and then when I see that line from its midpoint over, and that distance should be that it's 1 inch. Now it's probably not 1 exactly. In fact, if I grab it and I go to its properties, it is, oh, how do you like that? It is actually 1. So or it's less than a 16th off because my accuracy is set to 16. So what I do is I would just take the average there, that halfway point, and then square off right off of that. So then these two distances would become the same, and an average of that. And I think that is the better solution. And since we have a wiped out garage, there's no reason we can't actually square it up in reality, which will make everything easier when you connect the two buildings, because now you're not going to have two sizes and a fade along the whole thing for all your cuts through here. And I just want your opinion on that, so I was just going to make this quick video and shoot it off to you and get some feedback. So I kind of have a email I was writing, and I thought, jeez, it's too hard to explain an email. Let me just make a video. So here it comes. Give me a call.